I wanted to start with the question of redactions, because we've talked about this with you in the past, which is like, okay, how does the government know what to redact, or what is the choice that the government makes, or the thought process that goes into that? You got a little bit of information on that.
Yeah, there are a lot of juicy, what I would call nuggets in here that I have to caveat with not a lot of answers as to why these decisions were made. So what I discovered in these 715 pages, aside from the correspondence from the former Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, is there's a spreadsheet in here. And I want to be clear. The review of these files took place last March of 2025, before the passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, when this was going to essentially be a proactive release. So there was a spreadsheet, or there is a spreadsheet in these files, and it shows that the FBI was actually told to flag certain files. And they were told that by the DOJ. The spreadsheet is titled DOJ Flag List. And there were certain items that they flagged. And the reason it shows that it was flagged was either it contained classified information, it was a potential public figure, there was foreign government information, and then there are 16 entries that simply say POTUS. No further explanation. It's just POTUS is the reason for the flag. So it appears that early on, they were essentially, grabbing certain documents that they deemed to be sensitive, or there may have been legitimate reasons to redact it. I mean, I don't know what classified information could possibly be in these files, millions of pages of which were released.
Jason, remind us too about what typically gets redacted and what gets protected. And is it a case of information that could be harmful to someone? Like, what are the rules?
Sure. So there's redactions under privacy. There's a privacy exemption under the FOIA, and they were using the FOIA to guide them. There are trade secrets. There's no trade secrets in here. There's national security information, something that's deemed highly classified. There are deliberations when there's like a couple of attorneys speaking about a case that could be rightfully, redacted. So there's 9 different exemptions under the FOIA, which was guiding them. But here it just kind of seems like they were just starting out figuring what to flag for potential redactions.
But does it change, like, and just POTUS, for those people who aren't familiar, President of the United States.
We've all seen West Wing. Okay. Come on.
I just want to, acronyms. I don't want to get caught in jargon here.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no like key or some sort of legend.
There was a key. There was a key, which I believe we actually discussed on one of our previous previous segments. There is a key, and that key was produced after the passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So with the passage of the law, everything changed in terms of what should be disclosed, because Congress dictated what should be disclosed, and it was essentially disclose everything except the identities of victims and legitimate third parties. What we've seen, though, is that victims' names were released, that they had to redact later, and then there are vast swaths of redactions that simply don't seem to make sense. Todd Blanche himself has said, that the majority of the redactions have to do with child sexual abuse material, and the deliberative process is how he referred to it. So it really is kind of it depends on what document you're looking at.
So what does it reveal, though, further about the relationship of Sarah Ferguson with Epstein and her former husband, of course, Prince Andrew, who we know has certainly been held responsible for a lot, I think, in terms of his relationship. And he's lost a lot over in the UK.
Yeah, yeah, he was stripped of his titles, no longer Prince Andrew. This is really weird. That's the only way I can describe it. In March of 2025, just a couple of weeks after Kash Patel was sworn in as FBI director, he gets an email from the legal attaché in London, who works at the U.S. Embassy in London. Sarah Ferguson had reached out to a top diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in London and sent an email that was for Kash Patel for contact information of a British socialite named Victoria Hervey, who has been a pretty staunch defender of Andrew and kind of downplayed some of what was in the Epstein files. 2 months prior to that, this woman, Victoria Hervey, who Sarah Ferguson was sharing the contact information with, she was at Trump's golf club in Palm Beach. She took photos with Kash Patel and Donald Trump, posted it on her Instagram. So Sarah Ferguson was sharing the contact information that Kash Patel wanted. Apparently, that's what some of these emails say, is that Kash Patel was looking for her info, and here comes Sarah Ferguson handing it over. So it's very strange. There's no, to be upfront and clear, there's no real understanding as to why that she was reaching out. It's the first time we're getting a piece of new information of what was going on during this Epstein files review as Kash Patel became director. But it leaves a lot of questions, like much of the Epstein files do. So
sorry, Jason, just repeat it or make clear, and you do in the files, but like, what is the Epstein connection there? And like, why would this come out during the Epstein review?
So it came, that's a great question, Tim. So it came out during the review because Epstein's name was mentioned by the legal attaché in London. He mentioned Epstein's name. He noted that the socialite Victoria Hervey had discussed Epstein, and so just the appearance of his name is why these documents were released. But since the files have been released, we learned more details about Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's relationship with Epstein, and that far from cutting off contact with him as they publicly claimed, they maintained a relationship with him after his 2008 conviction, with Sarah going so far as to asking him for financial advice and also loans to help pay off her debt.
The more you dig into this stuff, it's just what's interesting is how quickly people in general dismiss whenever there's something that comes out in the public. And then when you get to start digging in, you're like, well, wait a minute. There was relationships. There was something deeper. Right. It wasn't just a passing relationship or at a social event. Like that to me continues to come back at me, even though there's still so many unanswered questions. Jason, I'm curious how you see it, because I know there's still a lot of questions out there and we have to be very careful not to make conclusions. But that's what continues to strike me.
Yeah, as I mentioned during our previous discussions around this, I mean, these are puzzle pieces. Yeah. And I find these emails that I've highlighted in this spreadsheet to be, part of that puzzle in terms of what was the thinking at first, who was speaking to whom. We don't know why Sarah Ferguson reached out, but we do know that, the Epstein files review was taking place and that, she's in those files, and so is Andrew. So I find this to be, trying to piece parts of the puzzle together. I do want to note that an FBI spokesperson who reached out to told us that, Kash Patel has, no idea, does not know who this Victoria Hervey is. And as it relates to the photos that he took with her, that he takes photos with thousands of people.
Yeah. I don't know. It just gets interesting. Like you say, it's pieces of the puzzle.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And I think that goes to, directly at why this isn't going away and why, the others, other journalists and just members of the public continue to be fascinated and interested in it, as well as, want to continue investigating.
Yeah. And we know a lot more courtesy of all the work that you're doing.